Melissa, can I get called to order, please?
Elwick.
Here.
Sesenius.
Here.
Parmenter.
Here.
Raker.
Here.
Starkmahood.
Here.
Fluhop is absent.
If you could all stand and recite the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I take a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Zach. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 4, I take a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, if you've all had a chance.
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Motion by Ron, second by Andrew. Any questions for Chris or Melissa?
I have a question, in this water thing, are they putting booster pumps out in those new houses out there?
That is allowed now in the ordinance. So, the expansion tanks. Are you talking about?
No,
or?
it says booster pumps in here.
I thought I read that as
Yeah,
It's going.
was the
No.
issue where we're having.
no, the new addition out there, they're putting booster pumps in, that's what this says.
And it's stating that they must be removed.
It's not stating they must be removed,
That's
it's just
what I
saying
read.
they're in there.
We have the automatic flushers, but I don't believe we have any booster pumps. I will double check
It
with Craig.
says right in here, booster pump.
Right.
There's nothing out there at this time. Our water pressure's awful.
Well, no, I'm talking individual
In the new
in
house, in
houses.
each house.
In houses.
Should be expansion tanks that you passed the ordinance to allow for.
Yeah, but the expansion tank, but you have to have, then what is going in for backflow prevention?
Right. And that.
Which there's never been anything in Benton saying what backflow prevention needs to go in, because it used to be just put a check valve in, then put an expansion tank on the water, so the relief valve doesn't blow off.
I will double check with Craig and get back to you.
Thank you.
So we're concerned with pressure pumps out there.
Well, yeah, I guess I would be, because if you've got 10 booster pumps on the
Yep.
street, is that pulling away from the neighbors?
We have an ordinance that says we are not allowing booster pumps. Do we have an ordinance that says that?
Here it is right here. Individual booster pumps shall not be allowed for any individual residential service from the public water supply mains.
Okay, but I thought I saw,
Well, I know there are, yes.
you know, there are booster pumps out there. Oh, thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
I mean, we had this
Put it in.
issue up on
Maybe-
Avenue.
Maybe there's different styles of booster pumps. Some are allowed and some are not.
No.
And maybe I'm confused. I'm an electrician, not a
Zach, what
plumber.
page you
But
on?
what's
Did you
that?
see that?
Page 6, third bullet point down.
I will ask Craig about it and follow up with you.
Okay.
Is there different sizes of booster pumps that would in
No,
your mind be allowed?
it's a residential booster pump
Yep.
with a pressure tank below it.
I mean, I know some individuals personally that have poor pressure in their houses.
Right.
And individually put a booster in.
Right. I mean, we had this issue up on A Avenue with a 1-inch galvanized line.
Yep.
And when the booster pump ran in the other house, the guy had a pencil lead stream of water coming out of his, and we made him take it out.
I'll be. Alright.
And my understanding on that is they're concerned with cross-contamination, back siphoning into the city's water system.
Well, in a way, yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I say, this Benton has never established a backflow prevention. And back when it came in, no town, no small town had any idea what to put in, so everybody just said, put in a check valve. Well, then everybody's water heaters started popping off all the time.
Well, we're having trouble with the pits we were putting in,
Right,
because they had a valve on them. That was
right, they had
making the
the
pressure
check
build
valve
up.
down in the pit.
Yes.
And
Well, we need to get that figured out.
We'll ask Craig.
thank you.
Any other questions for Chris or Melissa? Alright, moving on. Now's the time to receive.
Uh,
Sorry, do you wanna approve that? I'm gonna vote to approve.
Oh, I thought we did. Alright, all in favor to accept?
Aye.
Thank you, Wes. Alright. Now, moving on, time to receive and file communications, petitions, or remonstrances.
Had a letter from the After Dark Tourism. That's in front of your seats here. I believe they would like to come and speak to council again, but
Again, moving on, now it's time for committee reports. Ron?
We had a meeting before this about parking for 303 First Avenue, the Horst PT. And we are going to have a work session about that. We need to figure out when we're gonna do it, but it's probably sooner than, it's better than later. We could. We can do it first meeting in January.
okay.
This will be a work session, so it'll include everybody.
That is what day is that? 7, 8?
Be the 9th.
9.
So we have a meeting next week on the 19th.
Yes, we'll talk about that at the end of this.
And then the 26th.
26th is regular meeting.
Council. Is there anything going on that day?
Or we could have it 26th.
Yeah, I think we need to get it going
Okay,
for those people.
let's do it 26th, and do you think we need an hour or a half hour?
A half hour is not gonna cut it.
An hour. 6 o'clock, the 26th.
Sounds good.
Alright.
I'll be on that.
Now it's time for citizens input. You both are on the agenda. So Chris, anybody out there?
I do not see anybody on Zoom at this time.
Alright, moving on. Corey. You're up.
You want me to come up there?
Sure do.
I think I know everybody that's up here, but I'll just do a quick introduction. I'm Officer Nesbitt, Corey Nesbitt. Been with Benton Police Department at some capacity since 2016. Started as a reserve officer, part-time, full-time, and then had an opportunity here this school year to get into the school resource officer position. As you guys know, we've had the position for 6 years. We're on our 7th year now. Officer West, who's with the department right now, has been with us doing that. So when I stepped into it, he already blazed the trail. So it's been a great transition for me, I feel. My goal kind of every week is to be in every school at least once, all 5, all the schools that are in Benton, and then make my way to Shellsburg as well. First year, my goal is just try and build relationships with the students and staff, and then just kind of continue what we've already been doing. Some of the things that we're working on right now, we're going through Holiday with the Cop coming up here this weekend. We'll have about 100 kids, approximately 100 kids going through, which will be great. It's a program we've been doing for quite a while. And it's been really good. Good interaction with kids outside of school, being able to interact with their parents and other siblings that maybe we don't see on a regular basis and see us in a different light. I don't think. Yeah. Any questions for me?
You like it?
That's great. I love it. One thing that's great is both my kids are in the district, so you know, being able to see them on a regular basis. A lot of kids that I've kind of helped coach through soccer and different sports, just kind of being able to spend time with them and hang out with them has been great. You know, the law enforcement side of things in the school resource officer position is like such a small percentage of my day to day. A lot of it is, you know, the interactions, having lunch with kids, sitting down with them, and just meeting them where they're at. I mean, that's the big thing. So mainly we'll do like the 3 parts to an SRO would be law enforcement, public safety educator. So I do a lot of that within the school. And I know Ted is assisted in that when we do like forensic or fingerprinting, domestic abuse kind of stuff, or digital media conversations that we have. There's a lot of things that I get to interact with the students in class with. And then the other part is an informal counselor or mentor. I probably do that most. Just another extension to the school, and somebody that they can come talk to if there's an event or something that comes up. And the idea is just being able to transition between all 3 of those on a daily basis. So I might start in a counseling session, and all of a sudden I'm going into a criminal side if that happens. And that is such a small portion of my day to day. First 3 weeks, I think I had 1 incident. The rest of it was just interacting with kids, which is the best part. So I think I've had some pretty good feedback so far. A lot to learn the juvenile side of things, and you know, being patient and you know, just kind of navigating through what that looks like. So yeah.
Training?
Oh yeah. So obviously to become law enforcement, I did ILEA, so I had that. But then to transition into the SRO, I went up to Minnesota for a 40-hour class for a week, which was NASRO. Did that just before school started. It was actually kind of the week before school started, so I got that accomplished and was able to kind of come in right away to do that. And our requirement is kind of do that in the first year, so it was nice to be able to do that. I'm originally from there, so it was nice to be able to stay with family and then travel to where I had to for the class every day. And then just continuing education stuff as I go. You know, webinars, there's a lot of different trainings and things that I can go to. And one thing that I've been really trying to work on is getting our day shift guys, part-time guys, if they're working, just making them feel comfortable coming to the school, that they're not stepping on my toes by any means. If I'm at the middle school and they want to walk through the high school, or if they want to do kind of a walkthrough or tour with me, that's something that I try and promote just so they have familiarity. And the kids see more than just myself in there on a regular basis, or Officer West, who was there for 6 years. And just the unpredictableness of it, and just trying to change up my routine kind of on a daily basis. I try not to be in the same place every day. Like I said, I try and be at least every school at least once throughout the week, whether it's for the full day. Today I was in 3 different schools. It just kind of depends on kind of what I want to do or what the need is from staff. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
Corey.
appreciate it.
All right, moving on to old business. Nothing listed there. Skipping over to new business. I'd take an approval or a motion to approve the pay estimate number 10 to Woodruff Construction for the wastewater treatment improvements.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Andrew, second by Zach. Any questions, Chris?
It's on track. There's a change order for the weir coming up, but everything's on track. They're still looking at the crack on this, but this pay estimate has nothing to do with the crack. It's just the work that's already been done. So so we get if council approves it, then it gets submitted to the Iowa DNR tomorrow, and then we would get payment next Friday from them, reimbursed back for this.
And this is the crack in the precast.
Right, but that's not
Right.
what this is for.
So we're getting somewhere on that.
Yes, they are working on that.
Any other questions on that? Roll call?
Parmenter,
Yes.
Husenius.
Yep.
Elwick.
Yes.
Stark Mahud.
Yep.
Raker.
Yes.
Alright, moving on, I would entertain a motion to approve the change order number 3 for the wastewater treatment improvement.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wes, second by Zach. Chris?
This is a weir, a stainless steel weir plate downstream from the bar screen. So there's the bar screen and then there's a plate for the weir. And this is what, this is, I don't know why, but unfortunately I believe it was missed in the overall bid altogether. So you gotta have a weir plate. You gotta have that down there. So this need to be added on. And also, there's a new service for the main lift station panel for the breaker conduit and wire. It was at the wrong. What we were sent was the wrong one, so this is the difference of that to make the main lift. Without the main lift, that would not be good. You could not operate a wastewater treatment plant, or nobody's toilets would work at all in the community without the main lift. Would you agree, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was wrong?
I believe the wrong size, according to Kevin, is what happened.
Okay.
It was the wrong size for the electrical.
So they spec it with the wrong size, or did they just order the wrong size?
I think it was.
It had to have been inspected, it was the wrong price.
It was spec wrong to my understanding, and this is a difference in price here.
Well, then both of these seem to be an engineering problem,
Yeah.
I
as
understand
far as
that,
I'm concerned.
but
I don't
we
think
can
it's,
table it.
I don't think
and-
that's the first item that got missed.
Well,
either.
I think it would be a much larger issue if it was a $500,000 change
Right,
order.
but when they start nickel and diming, that starts adding up to $500,000.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, I understand that. Bud Mayor has been talking back and forth with Emily on this one before it came to this point. I'm just gonna let you know he's been in conversation with them about this change order.
So she's had an earful.
I'd like to know
No
this
doubt.
conversation.
I can get you those emails, and I can go get those right now if you would like.
No.
No, we don't need them right
I
now,
don't need them
but
right now, I'm just, like I said, both of these seem to be a engineering issue.
They certainly seem to be that way, yes. You know, I don't know how it couldn't be. If something gets missed, I mean.
Either
It's not a big
that or
deal to
it's-
table
Either
that,
that
so-
or it's Woodruff missed it when they were bidding.
Correct. So I can get you those for sure. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be down tomorrow.
I'll be
it's our
here.
job to question.
Yeah, well, I'll be here.
Any other questions on that for now?
So you're gonna rescind,
We got
Well, I'll,
table this, or what are we doing?
well, pull back our,
motion and
motion
second,
in a second, yeah,
and motion and a second to table?
and a motion to table.
So who made this motion?
Weston.
It was over there.
So I just rescind the motion? Is that
Second.
is that good?
And
Zach
rescind the
seconded.
second.
So, okay.
Then I make a motion to table it.
And I would second your motion,
Thank you.
Mr.
Aye.
Hussein.
One time I moved.
Sorry, Wes.
Did you get all that?
Never do
Okay,
it.
I don't need.
Sometimes the
roll
rug
call
gets
on
pulled
that.
out from under your feet and it just, it hurts for a little while, but.
Yeah.
All right. Item D, I would take a motion for the approval of Vinton Veterans Memorial Airport Capital Improvement Plan.
Sorry, you want
You wanna go see?
Oh, no, I had that marked off already.
Well,
Okay, I'd take a motion for the approval of the quote for team services for contract drilling services as part of East Third Street Sewer Project.
motion.
Second.
Motion by Zach, second by Ron.
Which way are they gonna go, Chris? East or west?
Towards your house.
East.
Direction.
East.
Yes. Craig for sure. I'd call him right now.
I guess I'm just questioning, I know they hit rock up on top of the hill, but down the bottom, is there gonna be rock there?
Chris, is Nate not on Zoom?
No, he's not. I'm gonna call Craig right now.
Hey, Chris.
Hey Craig, just real quick on that sewer for East 3rd Street project, with the 3 bids with Team Services, Terracon, and Braun Intersect, are they heading east or west? I thought they were heading east.
3rd Street.
Well, they
On
had
3rd
east
Street.
From 11th Street, 11th down to Country Club, yes.
Yes, that's what I thought. It was heading that
Yep.
direction. Okay. Thanks,
Don't-
Craig.
don't hang up
No,
quite
don't hang up yet, Craig.
You happy with that, Ron?
Yeah, that's fine, like I said, did they hit rock on when they did the other part of that, Craig?
I don't remember them doing,
I don't think they hit rock going there. That's why I'm wondering if they're gonna end up hitting rock, cause it's gonna end up being shallower, isn't it?
I couldn't hear you completely.
Is it going to be shallower heading that way? Is the question.
Going east,
Yeah.
I mean, it was 9 foot most of the way up to the top of the hill, and then the pipe got shallow enough to where it was only
6.
6 to 8 foot, so they wasn't hitting the rock anymore. So it's really hard to tell what it's going to be as it goes over the hill down towards Country Club. So
Well, I know they'll hit it up at the top, but
Yep.
if they end up that shallow at 6 foot or less, they're not gonna hit it down there.
I don't think you can hear
you wouldn't think so, no. But it was right at 9 foot, pretty much where they first started digging that first,
Right.
30 foot of pipe they laid. They was trying to dig into the rock to get it,
Right.
a smooth spot to lay the pipe on. So, and then like I said, they got a little more shallow and they got away from the rock and they really didn't investigate to see if the rock was still there. They just we found the next spot that was bad, so they just jumped ahead 30 foot and dug down and fixed it there. So.
This is gonna tell us what.
Well, I guess it's better to find it out before than get in the middle of it and have a change order, so.
Yeah, and it might be pretty expensive if they have to bring in jackhammers and
Right.
That
like you said,
limestone.
so.
Okay.
So I'm assuming everyone is
Thanks,
No
Craig.
problem, anytime.
comfortable with the engineer's recommendation, which happened to also be the lowest bid.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, roll call please.
Raker,
Yes.
Elwick,
Yes.
Harmater,
Yes.
Husenius,
Yep.
Stark Mahud.
Yes. Okay, now I'll take a motion for the approval of Vinton Veterans Memorial Airport capital improvement.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Andrew, second by Zach.
If I may.
Please do.
Please.
This is annual airport capital improvement plan. In order for us to receive any kind of federal funding and also state funding, we have to pass this plan. However, just because the city council and the airport approved the plan doesn't mean you have to do everything or anything in the plan. It just qualifies us for federal funding on an annual basis.
And all of that is pretty much 80% cost share or 75%?
No, just for the state, it would be 80% cost share. On the federal side, it's going to be 90 or 95%.
Okay, I like that a little better.
Or 100 from time to time.
Yep, every once in a while it is 100%.
they know we were meeting tonight?
What?
Did they know we were meeting tonight?
Yes, there have been some issues at the airport lately.
Any other questions on that for Chris? All right, roll call?
Elwick,
Yes.
Husenius.
Yep.
Raker,
Yes.
Stark Mahud,
Yes.
Carmenter.
Yes.
All right, now it's time for some discussion on the city farm lease. Jeremy, you're up.
Thanks for coming.
Got here early.
Better than late.
Yep.
I know most of you. I'm Jeremy Sills. I own Iowa Land Management and Real Estate for a couple of years now. I want to thank you for your all's engagement in our company to manage your, what we call the Miller Farm or Ballpark Farm, by the wastewater treatment plant. With the addition there, we've lost we've lost 12.59 acres of tillable ground. It is equal to the best ground in the country. It's 100 CSR2 ground that you took out of production. No fault of your own, I'm just letting you know.
Just stating fact.
Yep. That will equate, so you're gonna lose some income next year,
Yeah.
because of that. In addition to commodity prices are going down. We manage about 120 farms around the state, and 2/3 of those will see rent decreases if that tenant chose to terminate their lease with us to do so. So you went from 80.7 CSR2, so that's corn suitability rating version 2, down to 76.5 by taking that out of there. It's a weighted average on every individual soil type. One CSR2 point is roughly about $20 an acre. So between the reduced quality of land that's left remaining tillable and current market conditions, you'll probably be looking at about a $6,300 reduction in income for next year, 2025. So we don't have a lease signed yet. If no further direction from you guys, I intend to pursue a lease with the current tenant, Wayne Sila, for 2025. And open to any questions, comments, concerns, grievances.
Well, I don't have any issues. Thank you for that, and thanks for coming. And we used the funding last year, or the income from last year's, to put water into for the ball diamond. So I mean, it's going right back into it as far as what we're doing. So.
No other questions for Jeremy?
There's gotta be some.
So you're looking to go Wayne again, right? Possibly.
You know, absolutely. He would be one of the people, if I got hit by a bus, I wouldn't mind my wife renting my farm to Wayne Sila or his family. I mean, they treat every farm just like their own. They do a good job. Is this televised?
Yes, it is. Speak up.
That's enough, Jerry.
You guys know where I'm going with that.
I know where you're going with that. Yes, sir.
He's a great guy to do it.
I don't think we've had any issues at all with it. So, and he's been accommodating. Honestly, he has been accommodating to us with our expansion on our wastewater treatment plant. So I greatly appreciate that.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Three.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That's it. Man.
Dan, now it's your turn. We've got some discussion on the shared wall located at 112 East 4th, which is currently known as Benton County Title.
Dan McCann, owner of Benton County Title, been there for 11 years now. So, yeah. I just got told that we need more discussions, so I'm here.
It was an exterior wall, and now it was an
You want to
interior
put a
wall.
stairway
Yes, yeah, so it was an interior wall shared with the old Fisher building. And it was a shared party wall agreement from the 1800s. And once the fire happened, there was some inconclusive, talks with the insurance about whether or not that party wall agreement even is still around or valid or whatever. We're not attorneys, obviously, but we've been maintaining it. We spent a fair amount of money cleaning it up and making it look as good as we could, and I didn't do the work, so I'm not tooting my own horn, but my goodness, it looks great compared to what it did. So we would I think our best two options we're seeing is we can continue to quote unquote share the wall with the current owners of that lot, which would be the city, and we can share upkeep expenses. Or if you don't want to do that, we would be willing to just quit claim any interest that might be out there for just that wall to us, and we'll continue to maintain it and treat it like our own, because it basically has been.
Yep.
Council?
So, am I confused? This is a discussion about just what we were talking about. There's a stairway.
There will be, yeah, and I think the stairwell might have to come after the decision of the wall, maybe.
Well, the stairwell will be on our land then.
Yes and no, possibly. So we can start talking about that too. That's totally fine.
Okay. Yeah.
So, do you happen to have the notes from when you were with us with talking to Chuck and me and Hanson?
I mean, just in general, I don't know very, very little about it. You're looking to put another stairway.
Yep. So we had
kind of what was there possibly.
Yep.
Before.
So that the second floor, towards the north side, there's that open door that we covered up, and then there's the rear entrance on both first and second floor. After the fire, when they were cleaning up the empty lot and all that stuff, we put a fire escape on the back end to where there used to just be kind of like a dead second floor door that didn't leave anything outside. We put a staircase up there in March of 2020. Let me rethink. I think that's when we did the actual addition, was March of 2020. So prior to March of 2020, we put the staircase up there so that we could have access. That's where my office currently is. And so that was my access to upstairs. March of 2020, then we built what is now the current addition. We enclosed a wooden staircase, and the fire escape is sitting in the empty lot. So we would like to have that fire escape be put to use. And so there are some pictures there on the.
Yeah, this fire escape where Blake
right
was
Blake.
there. Okay, and then you're talking about this particular
door up
share
there,
wall.
Everybody's pretty familiar with this, right?
Right. So we are putting a mural up to the left of that door next year. That'll be a first responders themed mural, fire truck, non-Vinton specific, because there were so many surrounding communities that helped out. And so anyways, back to the fire escape. Yeah, so there are a couple different ideas that primarily Chuck had to whether it would, so it comes down to a landing and then zigzags back the other way, is how it currently is built. So that could be an option. There was some talk about maybe having to, with Blake, maybe having to change some of it just based off the codes or height restrictions and distance. Another option though we had was to put it on a weighted system, like a couple in the alley back behind the old Moving and More building. So that's an option too, to where it's not just sitting down there to A, anybody can get to it, or B, it's on the actual property, but it would be hanging over part of that, and it would require an easement, I believe Blake said.
Yep.
I mean, personally, the one I heard about was the one coming down the platform, then back the other way, and that ended up being not substantially, but quite a bit wider than a single
6 feet or what do we,
I thought it was 6, 7
yeah,
feet.
something like that. So some of it also comes to what might be, that lot might be used for too. And that's the kind
Well,
of question
that's
that's
that's-
been here for
that's
years.
another meeting.
Yeah,
We
that's-
need to
I mean,
have.
Yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
there's no like
Yeah.
set thing, but
I
that, you know, that's
I
part
mean,
of
straight
why
up, are
it takes
you
so long.
are you telling me that there is an option of having just one straight one down, and the bottom part of it would be weighted, so it would pull down, and that would be the less obtrusive into
Yeah,
the lot,
what did we say, 8 to 10 feet in the air,
Yeah,
so
8
they
to
couldn't
10
really even
feet.
jump.
and that might be to
I
your
would think
benefit
that's
too.
what you would want. Just,
Yes and no, I
Cost
mean,
is gonna. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
yes, we have it, so it's currently,
You have a functional one, and
yeah,
reuse it.
and
Your
we
cost is
have
minimal.
to, have to whatever the right term is, you know.
configure it.
Yeah,
Reconfigure, it's a possibility, and you know, obviously, if fire happens, I would prefer to be able to get out, you know. So, you know, there are windows, you know, I was talking to Craig about it at the gym earlier today, and there are some windows on the east side of the other alley that, you know, we've had little roll down, ladders that if something were to happen, you know, break out a window, roll the ladder down and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, cause even, you know, when Chuck's office was up there, 10 years ago, whatever, before the fire, his staircase was the interior one,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no rear staircase even for him
Right.
at that point. So, you know, again, we spend a good deal of money on this fire escape. It would be nice to use what we have, but there's also a large safety concern as well.
Well, like, as I said, this is a meeting we need to have. We need to have a work session on this. Before you spend the money to put a mural up there, if someone would come to town and wanna build a building in between,
So, yeah, so we basically.
that's my concern.
Nope.
is-
Sorry.
I don't like that show.
So the mural is with the Art Guild, the
Right.
Clifton Art Guild, whatever. They're gonna maintain basically.
I assume it's removable. I mean, as
Yeah. So it'll be on. When they're
Okay,
looking.
that's what my.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
want
sorry.
something
It's,
on the side of the building like.
yes,
Ray
and it's
Low's
not
building.
painted on the
Okay.
building.
Okay.
We're looking at an aluminum frame or whatever you call it, to hook it onto. That could, yes, be if it needed to be removed or
Okay,
whatever.
that's what I was worried about.
Yeah. No, it's not like a
Okay,
permanent. It's a 5-year plan with.
It's not
hopefully-
painted on the brick.
Correct. Yep.
okay.
So I was probably going down the wrong rabbit hole on that. The bigger discussion is, if we sell this lot and someone builds a store there, they're gonna wanna build all the way to your store,
Yeah.
obviously.
Which then there'll have to be firewall back
You would have to,
between.
they would have to incorporate into their building.
Well, and even Blake was he said he didn't think that they would even tie into the building. They
Right.
couldn't probably because of how old ours is, and ours was not supposed to be a standalone. It was built. It was tied into Fisher's originally.
Right,
Fisher's a
right.
few years older than ours.
Right,
So
I don't,
but that's why I say they'd lay, if it went building to building, they would lay another wall in between, or not in between, but right
Right,
up against your
Yeah.
building.
no, it may not necessarily be attached to you, they'd be right up to it.
Yeah.
I assume. I mean,
Or you make an alley out of it and then he can put his fire escape in.
well, that's good.
right, 'cause that was another
That was a
discussion we had about
discussion
the
we
movie
also
theater
talked
alley.
about.
You know, there are options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's not, you know, it is movable, the staircase, so
Like I
Yeah.
say, I think this is a conversation we all need to talk about and find out what everybody's thoughts are on that lot.
It's not that we
But-
all have different.
Yeah,
ideas.
but
The wall itself.
it isn't like we're gonna decide the future of that lot going forward, period, I don't think. We're gonna just come up with,
Well, what,
Well, Dan needs direction though.
yeah, I mean, that's what we,
that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
we need to have a work session to find out what everybody's idea on council is. I've talked to Andrew and see what everybody's thoughts are on it.
I mean, you're not required, I assume, to have 2 fire escapes out of a second story downtown building.
Blake didn't say anything about that.
No,
You
not
know,
me.
and there's,
I mean,
Yeah.
you would, yes. I'm not poo-pooing the idea, I'm just saying. Yeah. I guess, I mean, if you let them put wouldn't it be a deal that going forward, if you sell that lot, the new owners would have to accommodate that stairway into their new.
there's
As
a
I
couple
said,
ways to
there's
do
a
it.
lot of other conversations that come into play
Yeah,
on
yeah.
this. So
Because you
that's
could
why we
have-
need
yeah.
to have a work session
Okay.
to find out what everybody's thoughts are
Yeah.
on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we also need to have everybody there needed, as in, I don't know, if lawyers, I mean, I don't know how these things work, you know.
I was just thinking about just
I think we
one
figure out
step.
a plan and then get it
Mhm.
through Doug.
Okay, and that's fine. I was just direction for Dan about the wall. So is it consensus that the council is
That's a good
wanting
point.
to quit claim or possibly deed over just the wall itself at this time? That's the big question.
Nothing would feasibly might need to have you guys sign the real agreement too. I would
Yeah.
guess. I don't.
That's, I say, that fire escape, depending on if he puts up what's there,
Right,
or that's gonna be very intrusive onto that lot.
right.
If he just does a drop fire escape,
Do you have an idea on what it would cost to have that reinstalled?
I don't.
Okay. I guess in
We
my
got
mind,
money,
I'm just
yeah.
thinking safety wise, if the city's looking at potentially quit claiming the wall, I personally have no interest in having ownership of that wall.
no, I don't
Yeah.
want a wall.
Okay, all right.
You
That's
know.
what I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking
It was-
for.
it was the same baby steps
Quit
right
claiming
there.
would be
That
the
was my
first
baby
step.
step right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
just curious if you had an idea,
And we
and
there's
you know, in the meantime, you know, if it was minimal amount of money to have that thing installed in 2 years of
right.
safe access out of the building if there's a fire, if that was
the
worth
current
it to you,
configuration. Yeah.
Yeah. and then let's say 2-3 years from now, somebody comes in and says, "Hey, we want to buy that lot and
Right.
construct a
'cause when
business."
when we took it down for the permanent staircase edition, I mean, I'm sure we have receipts somewhere, but I don't remember thinking anything about that specifically. And the point of, if it was a large amount of money, I probably would have clicked in my brain, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I'm gonna.
Where you're looking at, I mean, basically, you're looking at attaching it to the wall, soft common brick wall. Then you're putting pilings down for posts.
You're not necessarily attaching it, I don't think it was attached on the backside.
What I'm
Yeah,
getting,
well, I'm
It's a
saying
self-standing.
you're gonna have to put
Like-
pilings down.
Yes, I agree.
So you're gonna have to drill down,
There's definitely work,
put concrete down 8-10 foot,
yeah, whatever.
so that stays there, it doesn't settle.
But we wouldn't even know at this point if it's
Right.
regulation, if Blake, you know, break.
He even
Blake's
said
issue.
that if there's somebody does build, they're gonna have to basically redo all the gravel or whatever, you know, he was talking about that specifically.
Right.
Chuck was mentioning that too, because
Yep.
of the footings for any new building.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't-
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you would right.
Yeah, the limestone that's in your basement isn't gonna stand up.
I guess what I was getting at is we all know that government is slow,
Right.
and that's why I asked him how much, if he had an idea what it would cost. You know, if he had an expectation of if he spent $1,500 on installing it, if he got 2 or 3 years of use out of it before somebody came in, bought the lot, and wanted to.
I'm gonna get.
Put up a building.
Just a guess, Zach, you're looking at 10 grand to put that
Yep, that's, even north of that probably.
in. Yeah.
Then that's, I think, probably not worth
Well,
gamble
that-
is
throwing
I'm
it in
just-
for a couple of
I'm
years.
throwing it out there because it's not cheap to do stuff like that.
I think for us, I mean, for me, the biggest kind of hanging question was the wall.
The wall.
I mean, partly because of the mural, partly because of the, you know, didn't do anything this year because we had Mike Evans doing it last, I think, calendar year.
Yeah.
And so, but in the next year or two, it probably needs to be reseal, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So there will be some upkeep in the next I'm sure, calendar year. Again, I would love to use that staircase, but I think if
First things first. We'll,
yeah,
Yep.
like
First things
we
first.
trying to say this carefully. There's reasons why you guys or the city now owns it, and this is now coming.
Mhm.
You know,
I know exactly what you say.
You haven't had an opportunity before?
sure, we'll go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
okay. All right.
Haven't had an
Less
opportunity.
yes.
Okay,
So,
we're discussing whether we want to sell.
so
or not
basically
sell.
I would just,
quit claim the wall.
yeah,
First
and
step.
I can't imagine the reason why we want.
we could have that on the agenda at the next meeting and.
Yeah, I could talk to Doug, and then you have I don't know, is it Mossman you use, or Yeah. and have them get together for this thing, and then bring something back to council. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay.
But we're still gonna have a meeting about the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I'll talk about that in my report.
Oh, thank you. Why didn't you say that, and I wouldn't have to talk?
It's fine. I don't have
It's fun talking.
All right.
Sure, we'll go with that. We'll go with
We'll
that.
be talking soon, Dan.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, thanks for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you.
Good evening.
Appreciate it. Okay, item G. Looks like staff's looking for direction to send correspondence to Congresswoman Ashley Hinson. There's a copy in your packets.
Every April, we get right before April 1, there's a window from Washington D.C. for earmarks, congressional earmark projects, and in order to do that, you have to have a meeting and support from the governing body, because it's only open to local governments, and it can either be done through a resolution or a letter such as this. So decided to get this done out of the way, so when comes the annual time for it, then we could just get the ball going on that, if that's acceptable to council.
I like it.
I am in favor.
Okay, so consensus is when it comes time, send the letter.
Go for it.
Fire away.
All the letters you want.
No, you don't want that.
Okay, moving on to reports. Who's online? Do we have anybody online?
There is nobody.
Okay. Chief,
I'm it.
you're it.
Again, I think Corey mentioned our holiday with COP is coming this Sunday. Somewhere around 100 kids. The only other thing I'd like to talk about is we got weather coming this weekend. Just I don't know if we're gonna get a whole lot of snow or anything, but I think it's just mostly ice, drizzle. So just if it does snow, keep in mind let's get our vehicles off the streets, so our street department don't have to worry about cars. That's all I have.
Wow.
We'll
Okay.
keep it short and
Melissa?
sweet.
The Pocket Park Committee has been talking to me. They would like to come back to council. They feel a little lost. They'd like a little bit more direction, have a continued discussion. But they would really like the mayor around for that meeting. So we had talked about today, we talked about the later meeting in December. We just haven't picked a date yet
January.
because I was waiting on.
I'm talking today.
That's fine.
No, she said in January it'd probably be good.
You talked to.
Carly.
Okay. I was waiting.
I do things once in a while.
I didn't say you didn't.
Cool.
That's
What
all.
do you say, Ron?
At Andrew's direction, I did that.
On that board, yes, they
Mhm.
feel like they need to have another meeting.
And Melody and I talked about that. Bud and I were trying to figure out his schedule. He needed to talk to his wife, and then we were going to make a decision. So.
It's a good man. Did y'all hear that?
I try to keep from doing that.
She appreciates that too.
Anything else?
No.
No? Chris?
Had a couple of things. One, been contacted by Alliant Energy. They would like us to pass a dark fiber resolution, a proposal for that. They have a fiber optic line that goes through town. However, they would like the opportunity to sell space within it to an internet service provider to provide internet options for businesses in the community. I went ahead and talked with Matt Storm. Matt's going to be talking with his board about this on Monday when they meet, and then they're going to come back with a recommendation for council on this one. So, and Alliant Energy will most likely want to come to the meeting in January. Right now, myself and Matt have contacted Doug about it being just a pass through the community because it's already laid in. The issue is we already have our own fiber optic network to the home here in the community. So just trying to find a way to Doug's trying to find a way to modify that resolution to where it doesn't really inhibit anything in the community as for what anybody's got going on. So Alliance Fiber right now is dedicated just for Alliant, and they're, I believe, looking to open it up for other options. So that's one thing.
So does Alliant, do they have to ask us for permission?
To go beyond
Or are
what
they just doing it?
they do have to ask permission because it's our right of way, and it is within our right of way, and it is through our community. So because of that, and some of the things in the resolution were one, if whoever the third party was going to be wouldn't have to get any building permits or entry permits. I said that's not going to work. That's not going to fly, and some other items in there. So it's definitely a work in progress right now with Doug and Matt, myself.
They're wanting to provide fiber to just businesses.
Well, not to residential. It excludes residential, but just have the option to. So the issue is if let's say it goes from Shellsburg, for example, to LaPorte, and it comes through Vinton. Well, right now, let's say they have an agreement with LaPorte City. If they don't have an agreement with Vinton, it has to go dark, therefore they can't get to the other end user of that. So just to have it lit up, they need to have this resolution and agree.
Okay.
But they want to open the option for providing businesses as well, and the ISP, whoever they sell those extra dark fiber strands to, wouldn't have to get permits for that third party, and that's not what was addressed with the League of Cities. They said it would have to come to the city for anything and everything, but the resolution says otherwise. So there's some bumps in the road with that. All right, that's one. Two, I went to the Board of Supervisors to ask about 25-mile-per-hour speed limit signs. Let's just say they would like us to pave that entire area down the wastewater treatment plant road and that road, and they went ahead and contacted ECOG and said, well, you do have some federal entitlement dollars that you can use it for that road. I was like, well, okay, thank you for the suggestion, but those funds are dedicated for West 4th Street when we actually redo that. That's what those federal funds are for. So right now, I'm not quite exactly sure, but I'm just reporting back right now on the speed limit sign. I did make the trip to the Board of Supervisors for that. It was kind of a different meeting. And speaking of meeting, we need to have a special meeting on December 19th at 5 o'clock. It will be with the Hobarts and their banker and their banker's attorney and our attorneys about the development agreement. Doug and Dave Rosecloth. Unfortunately, I don't think the mayor would be available, but the meeting has to happen. Because at the end of this month, which is the end of the year, the development agreement comes to an end. Is that an issue,
Yep,
Andrew?
yep, we've been talking. So it's a biggie.
December 19th at 5 o'clock.
Are you okay, Andrew?
I'm just thinking. This is my thinking.
So a week from tonight.
And one of my questions last time was, what does happen the first of next year when the contract is done and we do not have a new one in place?
That it will be up for you all to decide on, hopefully the 19th.
But I would imagine that if we don't have something in place, then we assume all liability and take over paying for the utilities and.
Yeah,
What
but
I-
that would be a big meeting if we're going to, at this one particular meeting, decide the next 5 years of what's going on out there. If that's what we're really talking
There
about.
may be some options here for you. You don't have to do it. You don't have to go 5 years. You could, there's opportunities there. You could take the agreement back completely, I mean, and be in charge of everything. You could extend and direct the attorneys to do that for maybe 1 year or less than that, or you could just, in grad school we were taught this, you can either act, react, or do nothing. But
Well, we've
the
done
choice
nothing
of-
up till December 19th. It just seems odd that the week before the end of the year, we're gonna
So-
make a big decision. I don't know.
Not our fault.
So what I asked, I told Chris I was gonna ask for maybe how things, especially for our newer council members,
Mhm.
A list with the main points of the developers agreement on one side and the items not fulfilled on the other side.
Okay. Yeah,
And
there's a whole section in the developers agreement that I will print out of items that needed to be done. And there's very specific language, and on one side of it has the city fulfilled all the items in the developers agreement up to date that is listed in that agreement. And it is a resounding yes.
Could we have a discussion before this get together?
well, yeah, because I'll give this to you afterwards, and then I thought if you could email it to everybody as soon as possible, it's pretty, I mean, it's just basic, and then we can get our questions together.
I was
Before the
thinking
meeting.
if we do some meeting like that, or if I can just come into
Yeah,
I feel lost in this.
I know,
So
I'm here to help.
at some
And
point.
it's a big deal.
Except
You
for
wanna
Monday
be-
night.
yeah.
So, and I just wanna make sure that I'm on the same page as everybody else.
Mhm.
This individual is interested only in the main building.
Apparently so, yes.
That's the only thing he's interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is something that
That's an option.
this and Hobart's somehow.
There is a casino option
Yeah.
also.
But yes, I will be here and around. So, yes.
So, yeah, I understand that could be. So we could get together and have a work session on the upcoming
Mm-hmm.
discussion, but the upcoming discussion is the
Next
19th. so
Thursday already.
I feel it's super if we could get that done, but
Do you have any inkling what Hobarts are asking for? Well, I know, we've given it to
Probably
them a
that's
couple times.
that'd probably be it right now at this point in time. Just that I have a feeling it might be just an extension. I don't know about anything else, but I do know the president of was it Fairfax State Bank and their attorney will be here as well. The attorney for Fairfax State Bank, not Hobart.
So I would guess you've probably talked to Doug. What would his thoughts be on an extension, just for?
Doug can be here that night as well. I expect him to be, and so will Dave Rosecloss.
you won't expect him, you will be here as far as?
No, he said he's available the 19th. The man said he's gonna be here.
Okay.
What's wrong, Ryan?
Just asking if we're supposed to be talking about this shit
Yeah.
at this moment.
Well,
I'm just
right, I know.
trying to keep us out of jail.
Well, I mean, we've got
We
a
asked
scheduled
questions.
meeting.
No, that's fine, but we're talking about,
All
if
that.
we schedule a meeting, then that's great, but if we're gonna sit here and talk about it,
It's not on the agenda.
right.
It's not on the
Look
agenda,
at me being the.
But,
Yeah.
but no, no action is being taken.
I know, but we're talking about it.
Okay.
I mean,
19th, 5 o'clock.
right,
Get your questions to Chris as early as you can.
then does somebody wanna reach out to everybody else with a potential meeting beforehand then?
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna be able to fully discuss your options without
I can't meet Tuesday.
our attorneys and everything there,
Right.
and without even really knowing what Hobarts are asking for.
But we could get council caught up with the history of this situation, so they go know, I
Gonna
have,
do it Monday?
I'd love to do
No.
something.
I will not be
I'd be
available.
Wednesday.
I would do it Tuesday. We can't Tuesday.
I can't, it's more for you, Riley, whatever.
Riley? Where's Riley?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm getting good and welfare about my day for me, but that's
You
different.
do Wednesday? That way everything Wednesday
If-
night
if
is fresh.
Council
and
thinks it's important enough, yes.
And everybody's fresh in their minds for Thursday at 5 o'clock. What? What are you saying over there in the back row?
He said I'd do it as a work session.
Oh, that's fine. You gonna be there too?
Might wanna state my frustrations.
So Wednesday, Thursday?
What time are you meeting on Wednesday, the 18th?
It depends what everybody,
5 PM?
I can be here at 6 o'clock in the morning.
5 work for you?
Yep.
5 work for
Yep.
you? 5 o'clock.
That's fine.
5 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to post both of those meetings as work sessions? Or is Thursday a council meeting?
I would assume that what we come to,
It'd be a work session.
and then it would be on the agenda on the 26th.
No, not necessarily.
We wouldn't have to have a motion set in place.
It's gonna really depend on, it may be at the point now where, and I don't know just yet, but let's just put it down as 2 work sessions for now. I will explain later.
Well, if you put it down as a council meeting, then the public is welcome then.
Well,
They're
yes,
welcome.
they're welcome
Work
either way.
session too.
What?
No
Yeah,
matter what.
but I'm just,
I will get together with Melissa on how to get this done. Alrighty. That's all I had, which
Okay.
is slim, apparently.
Okay. Ted, by chance, do you know if Mr. Schott has started removing cars?
He will not.
You don't know, or he has not?
He is not.
That's what I thought, okay.
Has, I mean,
They're working on the roof. I know
Yeah. I mean, is anything, I mean, I don't wanna be too specific, anything besides the car, you see any progress in cleaning it out in general?
No, they're basically, Roger's working on, his crew is working on the structure,
Yeah, we
the
understand.
new roof on their membrane. That's all that's being done.
And what was the date for that?
January 1.
Okay.
Okay,
which will go into another 10,
And-
12, 14 years.
and Blake asked us specifically if we would have the stomach to follow through with what we were asking.
Damn right I do.
Yes, we do. Anything else?
Oh.
Any good in welfare?
It's my birthday on Monday. I'll be 50.
Oh, no wonder you're unavailable.
Oh,
50.
Yeah, 50.
Shoot.
Just a pup.
It's
I'm
my
unavailable.
birthday.
I would make a motion to
Something.
adjourn.
Hold on.
Your birthday?
Oh,
He's bringing up birthdays. I got one on the 15th. I don't know when it is. Sunday, maybe?
Sunday.
Yours?
oh,
How old
Andrew
are you gonna
too.
I'm 42 years old.
Wow.
Another
pup.
That's right, cause he was a senior when I was a sophomore.
55.
Really? No, it was a good. It was a real. I
No.
tough to believe that you're 55.
All right.
Hey,
That's good.
am I good? Am I good? I'll take a
Yeah,
motion
I would
to
make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Ron already
Already
beat you
did
to it.
that.
Oh, well, I'll second.
He stopped.